everyone, welcome back to Sewing and Crochet Things. My name is Brenda and today's video is going to be the first sewing video in this channel. I'm really excited for it. This is about a dress that I made for my sister's graduation. It was the ceremony, not the party, and it was really elegant, simple, and just very polished. I really love the way it came out. You can purchase the pattern in my Etsy shop in the link below in the description box if you want to make this dress yourself. It's really fun and easy to make, but it's really beautiful. If you want to see how this dress was made, just keep on watching. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this one every single week. Thank you so much. I began by marking all the lines of the pattern that I wanted to follow in my dress form. This is the first mock-up that I came up with, and I already tried it in my model and I made the necessary adjustments. It's obviously not ironed and it doesn't look all pretty, but it was necessary to see what changes I needed to make for the real pattern. Here with a piece of soap, I'm just marking all of the pins that I use for the adjustments so that when I put it apart I can modify the pattern. And then I started picking all of the seam stitches, which is the longest part of the process in my opinion, or the most boring one. Now I'm laying all of my pieces flat in my real fabric. The center part of the dress is pinned on the fold, and the other part of the dress is cut two separate pieces, and I have the sleeve pieces as well. I pinned it all to the fabric so that it wouldn't move around when I wanted to cut it apart. And I decided to add more seam allowance on the sides of my pattern and in the shoulders because I think that would make a better fit for my model. Now I am cutting all of my pieces really carefully while I'm watching a show in my iPad. For my sleeve triangle, I decided to cut two more pieces, like 4 in total, so that I could use 2 of them as a facing on the dress. Now I started sewing it all together, starting with the shoulder seams. Then I continued on with the side seams. And remember to iron as you go, because I didn't do it and I struggled at the end when I tried to iron it, like flat open. This is the second side seam. And I also sewed the center back seam, but only like where the zipper would end, like from the butt down. And then I added interfacing with the iron to 2 of my sleeve pieces. So I have 4 pieces total and 2 of them need to have the interfacing to look flatter, like smoother and stiffer. Now right sides facing each other, I sewed 1 interface piece with 1 normal piece, and then I made a stitch really close to the seam, pushing it towards the side without the interfacing. Here I'm repeating the process, so I sew them together first, then you need to cut some little lines, some little like cuts about 1 inch away from each other so that the sleeve has more movement when we turn it inside out. And then that's where I open the seams. I push them to the side without the interfacing, and I stitch flat like 1/8 apart from the seam line. And this is just a basting stitch that I made in the opening of the sleeve so that it wouldn't move around when I tried to sew it to the actual dress. And I came to my dress form, I pinned it in place to make sure I would sew it in the right position. Then I sewed it, and I forgot to film that part, I'm sorry. But I went on with the zipper and I decided to stitch it by hand. It's an invisible zipper, but I ended up stitching it on the machine later, so I don't know if this part of the process was just a waste of time, but I think it helped to make it look smooth and without wrinkles, and I just think it holds it in place better. This part of the clip that is not so visible, and I'm sorry about that, I was doing the hem and it was like a really thin hem. And then I cut 4 pieces of bias cut strips. They were like 3/4 of an inch thick, and I used them as facing for the neckline and for the sleeves of the seams that were showing. So this is the final result, and I'm so happy with the way that it turned out. As you can see, I had to add some darts in the center front, and I added some in the back as well because it made the fit better. My sister didn't like some wrinkles that it had before I added those darts, so it made it overall look really good, and I'm so proud of it.